Most travelers pack their bags thinking they're ready for smooth sailing. But the truth is, many people never make it past the cruise terminal. And it's not because of missing documents or expired passports. It's because of what they're wearing. Yes, outfits that seem perfectly fine at home can get you stopped, questioned, or even denied boarding altogether. And here's the kicker. Cruise lines rarely make these rules obvious. What passed without a problem a few years ago could now ruin your entire vacation. Stick with me because in this video we're breaking down 15 banned cruise outfits that can stop you before you ever step foot on deck. And some of these, especially number 7, catch even the most seasoned cruisers by surprise. Number 1. Swimwear and beach attire at boarding. One of the most common mistakes happens right at the terminal. You'd be amazed how many passengers show up in board shorts, bikini cover-ups, or beach sarongs thinking it's no big deal. But cruise lines see it differently. They want boarding day to feel like the start of a luxury resort experience. And someone strolling up in beach gear sends the opposite message. Even if you plan to hit the pool immediately, you'll still need smart casual clothes. Lightweight pants, a sundress, or even a simple t-shirt and shorts are fine. I once saw a young couple arrive straight from a beach hotel wearing matching swimwear under mesh cover-ups. They were excited and ready to board, until the agent shook her head. I'm sorry, swimwear isn't permitted during embarkation. They had to buy overpriced t-shirts and shorts from a small terminal shop before they were allowed on. Not exactly the start they'd envisioned. Number 2. No shirt, no shoes, no boarding. It sounds obvious, but every cruise sees people turned away for forgetting the basics. Health, safety, and hygiene all come into play here. Bare feet can spread germs or lead to injuries, and going shirtless is considered inappropriate in public indoor spaces, even in tropical ports. A group of college students I saw once showed up barefoot, laughing and saying, "We're on vacation." Security didn't share the joke. They were told to retrieve shoes from their car before they could board, delaying their check-in and embarrassing them in front of a long line of passengers. Bottom line, always wear proper footwear and a shirt during embarkation. No exceptions. Number 3. Offensive or controversial graphic tees. Another surprisingly common reason people get turned away? They're t-shirts. Cruise lines are tightening rules around anything that could be considered offensive or divisive, not just profanity. Political slogans, mocking historical figures, or even memes that could upset other guests can now get you stopped. One passenger I remember was thrilled about his trip, until he was denied boarding because of a shirt depicting a controversial political message. He argued it was free speech, but staff pointed to the fine print in his ticket agreement. His vacation ended before it began, while his travel partner had to sail without him. If you have to wonder whether a shirt might offend someone, it's safer to leave it at home. Number 4. Face-obscuring accessories. Security needs to verify who you are quickly and clearly. That's why heavy face paint, elaborate masks, or oversized sunglasses that hide most of your face can all be flagged. A group of friends once showed up for a pre-cruise masquerade with their faces completely painted. Security asked them to wash it off before boarding, and they spent their first 20 minutes scrubbing in a public restroom instead of celebrating. A simple rule of thumb: accessories are fine, as long as they don't obscure your identity. Number 5. Spiked or studded clothing. Even fashion choices can raise red flags. Jackets, belts, or bags with sharp spikes or heavy metal studs might look cool on land, but on a ship they're considered a potential safety hazard. These items can injure other passengers in crowded spaces, or even damage the ship's furnishings. I once saw a teenager's studded leather jacket trigger the security scanner. The spikes were considered dangerous, and the jacket was confiscated until the end of the cruise. She was mortified, and spent the rest of the trip without her favorite outfit. Before you pack, do a quick scan of your clothes and leave anything that could double as a weapon at home. Number 6. Excessively ripped or distressed clothing. Trendy torn jeans and shredded t-shirts might work for a music festival, but cruise lines are increasingly labeling them too casual. especially if they reveal large patches of skin. They're trying to maintain a polished, upscale atmosphere, even in casual settings. A group of friends once arrived in heavily ripped jeans and band tees, only to be stopped at the gate. They scrambled to buy conservative pants from a nearby shop just so they could board, and their excitement quickly turned to stress. A few tasteful rips are usually fine, but if your outfit looks like it barely survived the laundry cycle, it's best saved for port days. Number 7. Visible undergarments or sleepwear. Think you can sneak to breakfast in your pajamas or let your underwear peek out? Think again. Cruise ships want public areas to feel family-friendly and respectful. Sleepwear and visible undergarments violate that standard, and you can be turned away from restaurants or public spaces. One passenger I saw wandered into the main dining room in a silk robe over a nightgown, thinking it was no big deal. A maitre d' quickly intercepted him. "Sir, sleepwear isn't permitted here." He returned to his cabin, face bright red, to change. If you're stepping out, even just for coffee, make sure you're dressed like you're in public, not lounging at home. By the way, if you're planning a cruise and want to make sure you're getting the best deal before you even step on board, I'll link my favorite site, Cruise Direct, down in the description. It's where I personally compare prices and find hidden discounts, and it's helped a lot of fellow travelers save hundreds on their sailings. Number 8. Men's tank tops and sleeveless shirts at dinner. Even after you've boarded, your outfit can still get you turned away, especially in the main dining room. Most cruise lines have long expected a smart casual dress code at dinner, and that means tank tops and sleeveless shirts for men are a no-go. A group of friends I once sailed with learned this the hard way. They strolled into the dining room in gym tanks and sleeveless tees, thinking it was fine since they weren't in a formal venue. A staff member politely stopped them at the door and explained the rule. Frustrated, they had to return to their cabins, change into collared shirts, and ended up missing the start of dinner. It's not about being fancy. It's about creating a shared experience that feels just a little elevated. A button-down, polo, or simple collared shirt is always a safe choice. Number 9. Overly casual footwear. Just as important as what's on top is what's on your feet. Flip-flops, Crocs, and worn-out sneakers might feel comfortable, but they're often considered too casual for certain restaurants, entertainment lounges, and evening venues. I saw a couple once who were dressed perfectly for formal night, except for the husband's bright white running shoes. They were politely turned away from the main dining room and had to rush back to change, missing their reservation. It's a simple fix. Pack at least one pair of polished shoes like loafers, sandals, or dress shoes. Save the flip-flops for the pool deck. Number 10. Sheer or mesh clothing, without proper layers. What's fashionable on land can feel out of place at sea. Sheer blouses, lace dresses, or mesh tops are fine, as long as they're layered over something appropriate. Cruise ships aim to keep public spaces modest and family-friendly. One woman I remember had picked out a beautiful sheer dress for a night in the onboard theater. Under the bright lights, though, it was far more revealing than she realized. She was gently asked to change before entering. Embarrassed, she missed the first part of the show she'd been waiting for. If you love sheer styles, pair them with a camisole, slip, or lining. That extra layer keeps your outfit stylish and ship appropriate. Number 11. Themed costumes outside of events. Theme nights, like pirate parties or 80s throwbacks, are a cruise highlight. But outside of those times, full costumes are considered inappropriate, especially during boarding or formal dinners. A group of friends once showed up at the terminal dressed in elaborate luau outfits, complete with grass skirts and flower crowns. Security stopped them before they reached the gangway and explained that costumes were only allowed during official events. They had to change in a bathroom stall before boarding. Have fun with costumes, but save them for the designated nights and venues. Outside of those times, they'll only draw the wrong kind of attention. Number 12. Camouflage clothing in port. Here's one that shocks almost every first-time cruiser. Camouflage isn't just frowned upon. In some countries, it's illegal. In several Caribbean and African nations, only military personnel are allowed to wear camo, and violating that law can lead to fines or even arrest. A retired veteran on my ship once stepped off wearing camo shorts, only to be stopped by port security and told he'd need to change before entering. It was an embarrassing and stressful situation, and one that could have been avoided with a quick Google search. Before you pack, check the local laws for your destinations. It's a small detail that can save you a big headache. Number 13. Clothing that resembles crew uniforms. Even with the best intentions, dressing too much like the ship's staff can cause confusion, and in rare cases, a security concern. I once saw a retired naval officer wearing a crisp white shirt with epaulets that looked almost identical to the cruise crew uniform. Security stopped him at the terminal and politely asked him to change before boarding. He was stunned, but the reasoning was clear. Passengers need to be easily distinguishable from staff in case of an emergency. If you like nautical-inspired styles, choose something with a clearly different color or cut to avoid any confusion. Number 14. Culturally or religiously insensitive attire. Cruise ships bring together travelers from all over the world. And what might seem like a fun outfit to one person could feel deeply offensive to another. Clothing that misuses cultural symbols, parodies sacred attire, or appropriates traditional dress is increasingly being flagged. On one sailing, a passenger wore a ceremonial headdress as part of a festival look. While he meant no harm, several guests complained, and staff quietly asked him to change out of respect for cultural sensitivity. A simple rule: if an outfit borrows from a culture that isn't your own, make sure you're wearing it respectfully, or choose something else entirely. Number 15. Wrinkled or unkempt clothing. And finally, it's not just what you wear, but how you wear it. Clothes that are excessively wrinkled, stained, or disheveled can get you turned away from restaurants or lounges, and in rare cases, even from boarding. A fellow passenger once wore the same linen shirt multiple times without ironing it. By the final night, it looked like it had been balled up at the bottom of a suitcase. When he tried to enter the main dining room, the hostess gently redirected him to the buffet instead, explaining the dress standard. A quick pass with a steamer or wrinkle release spray before you head out can make all the difference. And ensure you're always dressed for the occasion. Before we wrap up, a quick tip from one cruiser to another. If you're planning a trip, I always check prices and itineraries on Cruise Direct before I book. They often have deals and perks that never show up on the cruise line's own website. And it's such an easy way to stretch your budget without cutting corners. You'll find a link down below if you want to take a look. And one more thing I always recommend before you sail. Make sure you're covered with travel insurance. Cruises are a big investment, and unexpected cancellations or medical emergencies can cost thousands. I personally like Generali because they specialize in cruise-specific coverage, and it's super quick to get a quote online. I'll leave a link for that as well. It's one of the smartest pre-trip steps you can take. There you have it. 15 surprising outfit mistakes that can turn your dream vacation into a frustrating ordeal before it even begins. Most travelers don't mean to break these rules, but the cruise lines won't bend them just because you didn't know. So now that you do, you can board with confidence, pack smarter, and enjoy every moment without a single wardrobe-related setback. If this video helped you prepare for your trip, give it a like, share it with a friend who's cruising soon, and subscribe for more insider tips like these. And when you're done here, check out the videos on your screen. We've got more guides that'll help you sail smarter, save money, and make the most of every voyage. Bon voyage, and I'll see you on board.